G'day, welcome to Roy's Racing, the channel for mediocre sim racers everywhere. And welcome back to episode 8 of our My Team career mode in F1 22. You may notice that my voice sounds a bit different today. Part of that, or the main reason for that, is that I've actually got COVID, finally, for the first time. I'm not a unicorn anymore. I'm coming out the tail end of it now, but my voice is still a bit husky. So I hope you enjoy the new voice. If you haven't watched episode 7, go and watch that one before you watch this one so you don't get any spoilers and you're up to date on where things are. We're sitting in 11th place in the championship. Carlos Sainz is still streeting everybody. He's more than 2 races ahead of Max Verstappen now. And George Russell is a fair ways behind Verstappen in 3rd place. And Daniel Ricciardo, he's had a really good couple of races, so he's catching up. He's our championship rival at the moment. We're sort of in a fight for 11th place or 10th place with him and Mick Schumacher. And it's getting tight after the buff that McLaren got in the patch that came out a while back. Ricciardo's come good. And the new patch, 1.08 I think it is, that hadn't come out yet when I did this race. We're about to do the Canadian Grand Prix. So this is the standings after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The AI guys have still got that big advantage coming out of slow speed corners, which is probably going to be an issue for us as we go into Canada. But it is a race that I usually do well at. I really like that track at Montreal there, and I'm really looking forward to driving on it. It's a really quick turnaround between Azerbaijan and Canada. There's only 1 week, and there wasn't time to really do much between the races. I didn't start any new R&D or whatever, but I can show you on the screen there. As you can see, not much has changed for us. A couple of teams have had some new upgrades there. McLaren's got some going to go even faster, and the Alfa Romeo guys have also sort of gained a little bit there, but most of the rest of us are sitting about flat, about even, and we are still about the second worst car on the grid, but we're even with Aston Martin and AlphaTauri, so I would expect that we'll beat them today. And we have a really good engine, and this is a track that really relies on that, so I'm actually expecting, hoping, believing, yeah, let's go with believing that we should probably manage to get into the top 10 here. Yeah, with a good strategy and, you know, everything going in our favour. I reckon a top 10 finish in Canada is not beyond the realms of possibility. So we've done our first lap in Q1 and we're sitting in 6th place after everyone's done their first lap. So as I predicted, we're actually doing really well at this track. We've got the speed in a straight line and that's working really, really well for us. So we're about to go back out onto the track to do our second Q1 lap because the track's starting to rubber in and people are going to go faster, and we don't want to just sit on our laurels and risk not making it into Q2. So we're coming up behind Daniel Ricciardo here on our hot lap, and he has actually tried to get out the road there a little bit earlier, but then he just came back in front of us and we had nowhere else to do but to try and get past him. That's probably ruined the start of his lap, but in the end we had to do it to maintain our own lap. So as you can see, we've finished in about 7th place there in Q1. Oscar Piastri's down in 21st place. And Daniel Ricciardo, he's in 19th. He hasn't even made it out of Q1, which is going to be good for our rivalry, but I do wonder how he's going to come through the pack as we go into the race. So heading into Q2 now, we are in 5th place, but everyone's starting to set faster times. We're down in 9th place now, and we're getting ready to go out and actually start our second lap to see if we can keep ourselves in the top 10 and maybe move ourselves a little bit further up the grid. And this time, as we're coming up to the hairpin, you can see we've actually got a car in front of us there. It's one of the Red Bulls, and I'm hoping, I think it's Perez actually, that hopefully he stays out of our road this time, or even gives us a bit of a tow, but I think he's a little bit far in front, and I don't know that we're going to be having too much of a drama. But we're still in 8th place, and although we were in 9th before, and I don't know that we've done a lap. Something's gone a bit pear-shaped there. I don't know what's going on, but as we come up towards the line there, we are now in 3rd place, but of course there's still a minute or so left in the session and we end up in 9th. But that's okay, because we've made it into the top 10, and we've managed to hang on to a couple of good sets of tyres by reusing the used sets as we did Q1 and Q2. So headed into Q3 now. We haven't set a time yet, so we're just coming down the straight. We've come off the hairpin. We're coming up towards the chicane before the Wall of Champions. And, you know, we're on a really, really good lap here. But, you know, there's only a few people have set times. And as we cross the line, let's see where we wind up in this after the first lap. So we've got provisional pole. That's ahead of Verstappen. Okay, yeah, everyone's now starting to set times. I was getting sort of thinking, what's going on there? How did we get such a good lap in? But in the end, we've managed to get one lap in, and then what happened as we went across that chicane there before, we went over the curbs and managed to do some damage to our underbody, which has to be repaired before we can go out. So we don't have the opportunity to go and set another lap, because as you can see, it's going to take, you know, almost 6 minutes to fix that, and there's only 6 minutes left in the session.
Hello and welcome to the Ile Notre Dame once again for what promises to be another incredible Canadian Grand Prix at a fiercely competitive circuit where pole position can often be decided by less than 1/10 of a second. If you want flat-out racing, you've come to the right place this weekend, as it's full throttle for 59% of this 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 210 miles per hour going into the final chicane. But that speed requires discipline, and there are more than a few close walls here just waiting to punish drivers with a heavy right foot. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator, Carlos Sainz, completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Ava, and Perez. Ocon, Russell, Bottas, and Fernando Alonso. Magnussen, Vettel, Lando Norris, and Tsunoda. Mick Schumacher, Joe, Lance Stroll, and Daniel Ricciardo. Albon, Oscar Piastri, Latifi, and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. And now it's time to head down to the track. Natalie Pinkham joins me once again in the commentary box. It's fantastic to have you with us today. I'm curious though, how do you think the drivers stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It'll keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Okay, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So we're starting in position 5 after penalties, but you can see that there is the possibility of rain later in the race, and we're going to take a heck of a Hail Mary gamble here. We're actually going to start on the hard tyres, hope we can hold everybody off, and maybe go long, and if the rain comes in earlier than they're predicting, we might limit this to just one pit stop. Now, this is it's probably, look, I don't know whether this is going to work. We're just going to have a go and see what happens. So, it's interesting. So, Ricciardo ended up in 18th, so after Gasly's penalty. LeClerc has got yet another pole. Can this be the day? Can this be the race? Halfway through the season, can Leclerc finally win a race? Will Ferrari just not screw it up this time? Who knows? And he's got Sainz alongside him, the smooth operator, Carlos Sainz, starting in second place alongside him. So we've got a all Ferrari front row again, and hopefully their strategy doesn't just mess it up this time. So our McLaren rivals, so as I said before, Ricciardo's in 18th place, Norris is down in 13th, so we're starting ahead of them, which is good for our championship chances, but I expect they'll come through the pack there. And yeah, so we've got Verstappen starting right in front of us, and we actually almost run up the back of him there in the warm-up lap. That would be a disaster. Yeah, running up the back of one of the other drivers in the warm-up lap. So we're weaving all over the track, trying to get some heat into these hard tyres, and we're also sort of riding the brake pedal a little bit, trying to get some heat into the brakes, so that when we get the race started, we can actually get a good start. Because remember, we're probably going to have a little bit less traction starting off these hard tyres. And again, the AI cars have a really good low speed buff from the glitch in the game at the moment. So coming up to park now, and we're going to probably end up sitting on the grid for a while because we're right up the front of the grid, which we're not really used to having happen here. But hopefully we can get a good start and maybe hang on to 5th place. Then we've not parked it properly. We're parking a little bit way back. That's situation normal for us.
Okay, so that's the rest of
It's
the grid
one of those things I think I'm going to have to work on, is getting my car parked on the grid ready. But 5 lights have gone, we're off and racing now, and as expected we've had a poor start. Perez has managed to get up past us, and we've got Ocon coming up on our left, but we managed to outbrake Perez as we go into the corner. We've managed to hold him off, and so we've settled down into 5th place now. And if we have a look at the start of this race as it started right from the front, and so we've got 5 lights and away they go, and LeClerc's managed to have a really good start there, but so has Hamilton, I think that is up there, managed to slot it straight into 3rd place there. You can see we managed to come up alongside there, but other than that everything just went along fairly normal. But we're coming down the back straight now towards the chicane, and Sergio Perez has come up alongside us and driven past us. That's what we expected to happen, but at the same time, Ricciardo's already starting his run through the field. So he's come up alongside Guan Yu Zhou here, and he's trying to see if he can hang on to that position, and he does. So he's now up to 17th place after having starting in 18th, and 2 Williamses are driving side by side. But on lap 2 here, we have the Mercedes has come into the pits, so that's George Russell there. He's obviously hit somebody, so he's gone for the soft tyres, but that's shunted him right to the back of the grid now. And yeah, so now we're up to lap 4. We've got Esteban Ocon following us, and he's going to have a look around the out. This isn't really the place to go past. There's no room there, there's a wall there, and we're trying to maintain our line, so we've squeezed him out there and got the elbows out again, but that's okay. He's having another go up here as we come up towards the hairpin, coming up the inside. But I got a feeling he's managed to get some wing damage there. We gave him some room, but I don't think he has the ability to turn. And yeah, he can see he's gone into the pits there, and so he's going to the back of the grid as well. And he'll probably come out slightly behind Russell. But at the same time, Valtteri Bottas has decided that he wants to have a go past us. Then we come back up the inside of him on the main straight, and then we go around the outside of him on that right-hander there, and manage to maintain 6th position. And this is just, we've got slower tyres than everybody else, but we've got a fair chunk in straight line speed. So we're sort of managing to hold on to this position, but you can see we're getting quite a train of cars behind us, and it's only lap 5, and we're already almost 7 seconds behind everyone. So we go defensive here as we come up towards this next chicane, but then we go wide, but it's too late. Bottas has already got past us. But then for some reason, I don't know what happened there, because he was actually in front of us, and then he kind of got out the road and we just outbraked him, and shot ahead of him. And now Fernando Alonso has decided that he wants that position, and so he's going to see if he can take 7th place, and looks like he's managed to do it. So in a straight line there, Bottas might come back at him, but I think, yeah, they've both got DRS because they're both close behind us. But Bottas is still having a look up the inside as they come back down the straight there, and he hasn't managed to do it. But if you had a look behind there, that looked like Magnussen trying to come past Vettel there. And so, there's still stuff happening. But Bottas is not giving this thing up. So we've got 2 by 2 here, cars side by side. But Bottas is now coming back up the inside on lap 6 here. But they're still side by side. And you've got Norris alongside Magnussen there. So Magnussen is trying to pass Norris. But still we've got Alonso and Bottas. But eventually Bottas has to back out of it there. But that Alonso's on the wrong line for the chicane there, so he has to sort of slow off himself. Bottas has another look, but in the end, they have to settle down and just start going nose to tail again. So, we're back with Piastri, and he's just blown it. He's given it too much jandal again. I think that's 2 races in a row that he's spun it out. And so, yeah, we're on lap 8 now, and, he's starting to slow down. He must have a problem there. There's something going wrong with Piastri's car. Yeah, there is. So, yeah, that's Piastri pulling it off to the side there. So maybe I was talking him down for no reason. He's actually not doing too bad. Oh, no! So that's Bottas. It's another Ferrari engine going boom. And he's pulling it off to the side there. Oh, that's so disappointing for him. But that actually brought out the safety car. Now, it's actually way too early for us to pit. Remember, we're on those hard tyres, and, you know, we're not going to be able to make the medium tyres last the distance. So a couple of cars pitted, so you can see Hamilton's now leading the race from Verstappen, because I think both LeClerc and Sainz have actually pitted now. But, yeah, so the order as they restart the race: Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, us, Alonso, Norris, Schumacher and Stroll make up the top 10. But we go into lap 12 now, and you can see that Hamilton is leading the race and sort of got a little bit of a gap there from Verstappen. He's already starting to pull away. But this is only just straight after the safety car. And yes, you can see that one of the Ferraris has already got the hard tyres on, and so they've definitely pitted there. And okay, so we have Alonso is chasing us now, and he's thinking he's going to make a pass here, and he comes up the inside of us here, but we're just trying to maintain our racing line. We didn't really give him any room there, and we did touch, and it looks like we've actually managed to damage his front wing. So the stewards are not saying anything about this one, so it was a racing incident. It was Alonso being aggressive and trying to pass in a place that there's really not the room to pass there, and that's going to cost him because he's going to wind up in the pits. And in the next couple of laps, straight after that, we've got Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen both coming into the pits. So this is, you know, within the first couple of laps after the safety car. So this is going to put them all the way back down the back of the grid. And so we've seen Hamilton's pit stop, and this is Verstappen's pit stop, and he comes out behind Hamilton. And you can see all the cars are streeting past, and you can see on the left there that they're way down at the back of the grid. So they've got Stroll, Alonso and Gasly and Esteban Ocon behind them. So come out in 15th and 16th place, and now they've got to work their way back up through the pack. Maybe we'll get another safety car which will help them out. But meanwhile, that puts us in 4th place. So we're up in 4th place, but we've got Lando Norris now having a look, but he just gets it all wrong and goes across the curb there. And that's probably done all sorts of damage to his underbody, but it gives Mick Schumacher the chance to come up alongside him there. And it looks like Schumacher's going to probably manage to get this position, but no, Norris manages to have the speed in a straight line, and that doesn't matter though, because both Norris and Schumacher are coming into the pits. It's probably about time for their pit stop anyway. It's about the right time for it. So they're coming into the pits now, putting on the hard tyres. Looks like a pretty good pit stop there actually, but that's going to drop them way down the order. So they come back out onto the track in 16th and 17th positions. So they have a lot of work to do now. So now we have Kevin Magnussen's coming up alongside us, and he manages to get past us. But then, for reasons I can't explain, he gets in front, then pulls out the road. So all the drivers are doing this. Pulls out the road and then lets us outbrake him and go past him again. And now we have Verstappen up behind Vettel. So he's trying to work his way back up through the field, because he really can't let those Ferraris stay too far in front, because he's in 2nd place in the championship, but he's 2 races behind. He's actually got to try and get up there and start winning some races, but he hasn't at the moment. But he makes a short work of Vettel there. But now we've got Magnussen having another go at us as we come back into the wall of champions there, but he's not able to do it. And he's got DRS now, and he's having a look, but we've made that car as wide as we can, and he's gone up on the dirt to try and get past us there, but he hasn't managed to do it. We've probably touched a little bit there, and now we've got Verstappen trying to pass Alexander Albon, and he's going to make that look quite easy, I think. He's probably got more power, more of everything, better car handling, and yeah, he uses a bit of oversteer to rotate the car there, but Albon's not actually making it easy. In a Williams, he's taking the fight right up to Verstappen, so they're coming up to the hairpin side by side still, and eventually Verstappen manages to use his power advantage, and he's managed to get that position. So that's got Verstappen up into the top 10. But Albon, he's driving like a demon today. And here we go, lap 21. Magnussen's having yet another go, but again he can't make it stick, and he goes wide there, and that slows him down. But that forces Tsunoda to slow down, which forces Ricciardo to slow down, and that domino effect has now meant that both of the Mercedes have managed to get up alongside and past Ricciardo. But then we've got Hamilton also takes that opportunity to get in front of George Russell. So George Russell's gained on Ricciardo, then dropped back behind Hamilton. Hamilton's managed to make 2 places there, and now a couple of laps later, Magnussen's having yet another go at us. He's managed to get past, but we outbrake him again as we go past the wall of champions there. And now, who have we got? We've got Tsunoda having a go at the Mercedes there, and we've got Daniel Ricciardo's decided that he wants to get in on the action with George Russell. So he's managed to come past George Russell, and then Verstappen's managed to come past George Russell, and then... Okay then, so Russell's now gone back past Ricciardo, and Verstappen's got past Ricciardo as well. So he's gone up a place, down 2 places. There's cars swapping positions all over the place, but they've settled down now. And so now, but now we've got Magnussen under attack from Lewis Hamilton, who manages to outbrake him going into the hairpin there. So that's Magnussen dropping back a position, and now we've got Lewis Hamilton chasing us, and Verstappen is now chasing Magnussen, and he's looking to go around the outside there and outbrake him as they go into that hairpin, which he manages to do. So Verstappen's managed to get up into 6th place. So we're in 4th, Hamilton's in 5th, Verstappen's in 6th, Magnussen's now down to 8th place. But yeah, we've got George Russell trying to get in on this as well. There's just cars everywhere. So, okay, Verstappen's in 6th, Russell's in 7th, Magnussen is down into 8th place. And we've decided to go into the pits and had a major lock-up as we go in there. And the track is actually starting to look a little bit damp. It's like more of a mist than rain, but it's still, there's not enough to put the intermediate tyres on, but we've made those hards go as long as we can. We've got to bite the bullet, put the medium tyres on, and pray that we can make up enough ground here, even though we're sort of, you know, a long way down the order in 18th place now, and, you know, trying to get back in front of Gasly here. And yeah, we outbrake him as we come into that chicane. Oh yeah, ooh, he's actually had a big lock up and gone wide there. But he's had his hard tyres on for almost the start of the race as well. But now we've got brand new medium tyres on. We're 5.8 seconds behind Guan Yu Zhou in 16th place. Actually, that's gone up. We had gone up to over 6 there, but as you see, we're now at the end of lap 29. In a couple of laps, we've already got that down to 3.3 seconds. And you can see they're not that far in front of us, and that gap is dropping now even more. This is the speed advantage we've got now with brand new mediums, where everyone else has old hard tyres, and we're catching up now. So just in that short bit I was talking, we've caught up almost a full second there. And, you know, we're right behind them now. So lap 30, so we got 5 laps after this lap to try and get ourselves up another 7 places to see if we can get ourselves back into the points. Now that's a big ask. But there's a lot of cars right close to each other there, and we're using every bit of the track, going across the curves on that chicane there, just trying to get ourselves closer. So can we do it? So we're coming up, braking hard as we come into the hairpin here, and they've all had to sort of get in each other's road there. So that's enabled us to get right up the back of Zhou Guan Yu. But he comes off that hairpin and just disappears. You can see we were right up his backside, looking right up his wing, but now going down the straight there, he's pulled it away to, you know, almost a second that he pulled away from us there. So, you know, but we managed to, as we come into the chicane at the Wall of Champions there, we managed to haul up about half of that, and we're right there ready to go to attack as soon as we can get close enough. And here we are as we're coming around in towards this chicane, and we are sort of just braking later, going past him there, making it look easy, but that's the tyres. And so that gets us up to 16th place now. And so following Lance Stroll now as we come up towards the hairpin, and we're going to have a look up the inside of him, and oh gee whiz, we almost managed to hit Schumacher there. We have to take evasive action, but it doesn't matter. We've managed to get past Stroll. That's up to 15th place on the 31st lap, so we've got 4 laps to go after this one, and the next victim for us is Mick Schumacher. Can we get past him? So we're heading up here towards this last chicane before we go past the Wall of Champions, and you can see we're already gaining on him there, and we're going to have a little bit of a look. We're probably a little bit too far back to have a look on this particular set of corners, but we have to sort of brake hard anyway to take evasive action to make sure that we don't hit him. But then as we come up towards this chicane, we're hopefully going to come off the chicane with a little bit more of a run because we can hold more speed with these tyres, and we do. So we just hold it for a moment, but then we're going to go around and have a look up the inside of him here, outbrake him, and just make it look easy. Use all of the curb there, so that makes Nicholas Latifi our next victim. So we're up to 14th. Remember, we came out of the pits at 18th place and then passed Gasly pretty much straight away for 17th. But now we're up to 14th and we're on lap 32. So 3 laps to go after this one. 14th place, looking for a way past Latifi here. And maybe we'll have a bit of a look as we go into the hairpin. Yeah, we're coming from a long, long way back, but he's asleep. He's just given us all the room, and he decides not to fight it, gives us plenty of room, and we've managed to take that position here. So up to 13th place. So, since we came out of the pits, we've managed to get 5 places up the grid. So we're on lap 34. This is the second last lap of the race. We're back up alongside Lando Norris here, and we haven't hit him, and he's just given it too much throttle, too much jandle, and spun it out. And so that's cost him. And then almost straight afterwards, Ricciardo's trying to go past Tsunoda, and he's managed to hit him, and he's damaged his front wing. Now, hopefully McLaren's not going to do a Ferrari here and pull Daniel Ricciardo in on as they start the last lap, because he's up in 8th place. He can still manage to score points here. But as they're going through that hairpin there, we've done an absolute dive bomb, taken 2 places to go from 12th place up to 10th place and into the points in a double overtake there. But you can see up ahead of us there, that's Ricciardo still fighting it out with Tsunoda, and I don't believe it. He's gone into the pits. He's starting the last lap. So he's just ignoring that Alonso came past us and then we outbraked him. Ricciardo's gone into the pits. So we're starting it's an absolute, it's just a brain explosion from the team. And so anyways, we've gone up alongside Albon to try and take 8th place there, and that gets us up to 8th. We're on the last lap here. We're up into the points. We've managed to overtake 10 cars in about 5 laps. And so the next victim is going to be Yuki Tsunoda. We're on the last lap. So can we get it up to 7th place? We're going to outbrake him as we come into here, because again, we've got far better tyres and we end up making that look easy. So that's now 7th place. That's 11 places we've made up since we came in through the pits. And finally, Charles Leclerc is winning a Grand Prix this season. He's won the Canadian Grand Prix. Perez has come in 2nd. Carlos Sainz is going to come in 3rd place. So it's a great result for Ferrari. But here we are coming down the straight, and oh my goodness, we've run out of fuel. We're starting to slow down. We've run out of fuel. I can't believe it. So we've hit the ERS to try and give a little bit of acceleration to see if we can coast it over the line and hang on to some points. And then Tsunoda, he's had an absolute brain explosion. He's run up the back of us. He's given us a bit of a shunt that's pushed us forward. He's still managed to get past us, but we've held on to 8th place.
A truly magnificent drive then, and a great performance from the entire team to secure victory here in Canada. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari. So let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. Carlos Sainz extends his lead at the top, getting ever closer to securing the championship. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
It's an interesting one today. On balance, I think I have to call out Alex Albon. A really strong drive for him today, and one that he and his team should be very proud of.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who's joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Oh my goodness. What just happened? I don't believe it. We've come out of the pits in 18th place. We've worked our way up to 11th place on the last lap. Then we've run out of fuel. I can't believe I ran out of fuel in this race. And then using the ERS on its own just to try and push the car across the line. We planted in the middle of the track. We didn't weave all over the place. And then Tsunoda has had an absolute brain explosion. Has run straight up the back of us. It's like he didn't even see us. And that's given us a push. It smashed his front nose. It's probably done all sorts of damage to our back wing. But it's given us enough of a push so that we've got ourselves across the line. He managed to get past us into 7th place. But we still managed to finish in 8th place. Albon just couldn't get past because Tsunoda, in trying to get past us, blocked Albon, and then we wound up in 8th place. I just don't know I don't know what to say. What a last couple of laps. So much overtaking, so much action, and finally, Charles Leclerc has won a race. He's got himself a win, finally. Ferrari didn't mess it up. He's driven so well. Ended up winning by over 7 seconds ahead of Perez. And then Sainz was even further behind. But it's a first and third double podium for Ferrari. And that's pushing them so much further ahead of Verstappen in 2nd place in the championship. And I just can't believe how this race has finished. It's just... Seriously, if you're watching it all the way till now, well, congratulations. You've seen some incredible action. But thank you for watching all the way to the end. And we're going to get ready for the second half of the season, see if we can negotiate to keep Piastri in our team. After all the dramas in the Formula One silly season at the moment, who knows what he's going to do, because we're still way down in the order as far as the supposed speed of the car. Hopefully we can hang on to him, otherwise we'll have to find another co-driver. But that's all going to be in the next episode. So thank you again for watching this one all the way to now. Please subscribe, hit that like button, share it with your friends. It's just so much action happening in this game. And thank you again, and catch you later.